Hello and welcome to today's meeting on blissful awareness. This is a good opportunity for us to connect with each other and discuss spiritual matters. So, if anybody has any questions, you are most welcome. Otherwise, we'll start with today a discussion on Avdut Gita's one shlok. And from there, in between, if anybody wants to speak, share their thoughts or their experiences or any question, they are most welcome. So this is one shlok which I posted few days back, and it is from the sixth chapter, seventh shlok of Avdut Gita. Avdut Gita is a beautiful scripture which straight away comes to the point. It, it expects that the seeker is already ready. It does not explain how, why it is being said. The truth is explained bare uh, without any background. It is just given, and it is expected that the one who is listening is ready to take it. Otherwise, it will not be understood by everyone. So unless the guru comes, this becomes very difficult to grasp because there are so many contradictions and paradoxes in the Avdut Gita. So here in this shloka, he says that when my true essence does not have any differentiation, that means bhed, and then it says vibhed, means there is vihinam, nirakaram. There is no difference and there is no lack of differences. Means whatever divisions appears to be is also not divide of me. Is not I'm not absent from them. So in that sense, it becomes difficult to understand that what is the intention of this statement that there are no divisions and none of the divisions exist without me. So both things are true. We go ahead. Yadi Vedak Vedyam Nirakaranam. That means the one who is knower and the one that is known. Such divisions are also not there in the true essence, in my being, my presence, the the existence per se. Yadi Vam Ekam Nirantar Sarva Shivam. And when these are the two preconditions, when there are no divisions and all divisions are in me, when there is no difference of knower and known in me, and when whatever exists is only pure Shiva, pure beingness, pure existence, experiencer, then Tritiya cha katham, Turiya cha katham. Then what can be said as the three states and what is the fourth state which is beyond it? So anybody will be perplexed by these statements that sometimes we say that three states are there and there is a something which is beyond the three state which is called Turiya Avastha. But now he's saying even those divisions are flimsy, they are not true. And so you see the any ground or foundation for the intellect to rest is taken away. There is no place to stand, and body will have to surrender. There is no way the intellect can function after listening to these. That he is talking about absolute non-duality. There is no two, no three, no four. There are no states, and there is no fourth state also. There is nothing called you and me, he or she, here and there, now and then. And there is also nothing called seer and seen, experiencer and experience. There is nothing called seer, observer and observed, knower and known. All these divisions are also fictitious. They are not true. So I mean, it's written very clearly, but still, if somebody wants to elaborate or correspond to their experiences that how this can be true or whether it is not true, and he has not bothered to explain why it is said like that. So unless you have proper background, proper coaching, and a teacher, a guru to guide you, these sentences will not make any sense. There are two things. One, you can think them to be true and you just have blind faith in them. Or the second could be that you just ignore them. So both of these things will not be proper. So therefore, the importance of guru is there, who can who can guide you, who can catch hold of your hand and take you through step by step. And it's not very complicated. Also, it's very simple once it is understood. So there are only two things: either you get it or you don't get it. There is no. It's not a case of effort. It is not a case of doing lot of hard work to understand it. If there is hard work, then something is not correct. So there is no hard work involved there. It is pure grace. And how does that grace comes in life? That is very difficult to know because it comes. And when it comes, it just clicks. So Madhuri has given one comment. In one video, Guruji said that scriptures are there but need to be explained by Guru. Then only teachings will be permeable. Except that there is no way. Yeah, except that there is no way. You are right, absolutely right here, because I also, from my own experience, have not found that unless a guru comes in your life, a teacher comes to explain these things, they will be like some lofty words, some very nice principles, but they are not imbibed, they are not taken as truth. And once the truth is known, the once you have seen it in your life, then it becomes unshakable, it becomes immovable. Then whatever is thrown at you, the core of your being will never reject your basic or fundamental knowledge about yourself, because that is self illuminating. The knowledge about yourself is self illuminating. So Rajiv has said the expression fourth state is actually pointing to stateless state. However, mind naturally gets entangled in imagination, where it attempts to see it as a state. So, to further assist such mind, the shloka is another expression to point that stateless state. Very true. It's called Turiya. That means fourth. The literal meaning of Turiya is fourth. But if you have read Mandukya Upanishad, it says as if it is beyond that. Actually, all the three states are nothing but permeation of one state. There is just one experiencer, and the experiences are changing. Even these differences he has taken away. That there is no difference such as observer and observed. Vedak, Ved. That means the knower and known. That means the seer and the seen. That means the experiencer and the experience. Even those differences are not existing in the being which you are. So he has even taken away that duality and stopped at saying it is non-dual. That means it is only one. That means there are no two. So even that difference has been taken away. Madhuri has said is in Turiya illusion of duality merged into non-dual self. Correct. Actually, it is always merged, but maybe in Turiya, the way Guruji has explained is that when the awareness is constant in all the three states, it is called Turiya. Otherwise, in a different way, you can understand that one which is permeating in all the three state is the Turiya state. It is not that it is different from the three states. It is not that you have to go somewhere and go beyond these three states to find the fourth state. It is not like that. Some people are caught up in this that they want to achieve the fourth state, and they start doing meditation and all all those practices for achieving it. But just ponder, if just think with a calm mind, just bring your attention on the breath for a while, then what will happen? There will be a bridge which gets created between the mind and the body. Normally our mind keeps on wandering here and there. It doesn't stick to the present of whatever is happening right now, right here. And therefore, if we bring our attention to the breath for a while, we will be able to grasp the truth as it is, without any modifications, without any additions, without any subtraction, because it is already perfect. Nothing can be added or subtracted from it. And in that beauty, in that presence, in your beingness, the truth shines forth. It is always shining, but we are not able to see it. Suppose in a waking state, you are seeing something. Now, that's whatever is seen cannot be away from you. Otherwise, how you can see it? Same way in the dream, whatever is seen is again the part of the seer itself. And in the dreamless state, it is just nothingness, sort of nothingness. But still, that nothingness is experienced, because once you wake up, that nothingness has a memory inbuilt that I slept very well. So, all these things, they appear to be many, they appear to be several, they appear as if there is difference between the one which is knowing and the one which is known. But in reality, there is no such difference. I hope it is clear. In case it is not, then please feel free to give your comments. Satya is saying the substratum of all the states is Turiya. Absolutely right. It is like we give example of the depth of the ocean and the waves. So the depth of the ocean is experience and the waves are the experience. But they both are nothing but water. So we can say water is Turiya, or you, or the presence, or the experiencing, or just that what it is water. Now it can be exhibited in various states, either in calm state, or in more changing state, or in solid state like ice, or in a fluid state like a river, or in a very mild state like clouds, very light state. But still it is water. So similarly, it never became anything but water. So whenever you are experiencing anything, you are experiencing water. It is just name and shape which keeps on changing, which we call as word, which we call as objects, which we call as an experience. But that experience is nothing but experiencer itself, experiencing itself as an image, as a projection, as a object, as an experience, as a relation, as a, so the whole world is your own reflection in that sense. Whatever is within you gets projected outside and seen as if it is happening somewhere else. But there is no boundary where that someone else or something else is happening. There is no such place, because the time and place also is an experience. So if that is the experience, the one which is experiencing cannot be bound by time and space. And if it is bound, then even the mind cannot be bound by time and space. In fact, mind cannot exist without time. And the experience cannot happen without space. And space also is an experience, the most subtlest of an experience. So there is no difference between the one which is knower, knowing these, and the one that is known. That's the crux of the whole non-duality principle. I hope all have heard it so many times that it becomes very clear to them. Even if there is iota of doubt, very slight doubt, that it is theoretical, it is not correct, then you can ask. Then you can ask your guru. Then you can ask the teacher in whom you have faith, and then apply those principles of on your own self, on your own judgment, on your own experience and logic, to see whether whatever is being told is correct or not. Rajiv has said duality is illusion and it's already in stateless state, which actually is only there, nothing else. But that's the beauty of illusion too, that this satsang is happening and I am typing. Yeah, yeah, very true. So all these illusions keep on happening, and we think it is true. The ignorance is that you believe it to be true, not believe, you know that it is true. And whatever is written in the scriptures or told by gurus, many several people, they never bother about even trying to grasp it, like animals, right? They don't try to question whether it is true or false. What is my nature? Who am I? And once that intellect is purified, once that the basic desires are met, once once the detachment is come, once the thirst for knowledge is there, once the grace of guru is in life, then these things will start popping up. You won't be satisfied with any flimsical answers. You will be craving for the truth, the ultimate truth, never knowing that the ultimate truth is you yourself. Therefore, that truth cannot be known as an experience, because as soon as it is an experience, it is changing. And that change is nothing but you yourself. So you cannot escape this word. You may escape this word. You may think that death will give me, I mean, I can go away from this word, but some other word will appear, right? I mean, I have not seen it, but obviously this can be known in dreams, that this state, waking state, is forgotten and a new word appears in the dream. And sort of in the dreamless state, as if there is no word, or the memory of whatever is experienced during the dreamless state is not formed, or it is not very coordinated and collaborated with our waking state. So it is given no significance, except that I had a very, very good night's sleep and my body got recharged, my mind got fresh. But a inquisitive seeker will not be satisfied with anything which he have learned from books, from the teacher, or from any source, unless he sees it with his own direct experience. So the Sadguru, or the teacher, the real teacher, whom you get connected with, does not preaches you. He does not commands that this is what it is. He just shows you your own experience. He just shows you that Please look from an open mind, with an open mind. Directly see what is happening around you. Directly observe what is happening. Then there won't be any questions, there won't be any doubts. And that is called contemplation. Once you have heard it, once you have removed all the doubts, then abidance in self, that is awareness practice, downs. It comes on its own. There's hardly any effort to bring awareness. Although sometimes I find that having a conducive environment is good to be in awareness, but maybe that comes when the knowledge is more established, when the knowledge is clear, when the knowledge itself is like a breath. It is, it's not an effort, it is not an procedure, there is no practice there, just the presence. Okay, good. Satya has a question. Is superimposition and projection synonymous? Superimposition and projections could be very similar. If I can answer, if somebody else wants to answer, they can always answer. But projection is like, it has come from the word projector. And projector means what? There is a screen and some pictures are getting projected on the screen. Now that is called projection. That means what? It means that whatever is the truth is not what it is seen as it is. It is seen as something else. That is projection. Now, superimposition is that suppose you see a cat and you believe it a big cat, you believe it to be uh, a tiger or something like that. So you are superimposing your ideas on something that which it is not, which is again both are deriving from ignorance, either it be projection or superimposition, and they are similar. Maybe one comes out from prior experience, the superimposition, and also, in fact, projection also cannot exist the without prior experience, without the memory being there. So they are similar in my view. If one anybody else wants to add, they please feel free. Madhuri has said that I want to know, that is awareness there in sleep paralysis. I want to know, that is awareness there in sleep paralysis. Okay, Rohit has given an example. Snake and rope is superimposition. Yeah, true. But Rohit, we can also say that snake and rope is projection. So projecting the snake on the rope is, I mean, you can use either of these words. Madhuri said, I want to know, that is awareness there in sleep paralysis? I don't think so. Because if the awareness is there in the sleep paralysis, then you will be able to see this body lying as just being there, and you are separate from it. Awareness means what? That you can detach yourself, not detach yourself, you can see that I am different from whatever is happening on the screen, or whatever is happening is just mirage. It is not that what it is awareness. So the experiences, the thoughts, the behaviors, the incidences, the situations will start having less and less impact on you. They will start having minimal impact on you. And that is what detachment is. So detachment and love are synonymous. You can't have love without detachment, and you can't have detachment without love. This seems to be quite the opposite. That how can it be said that love and detachment are same? But just think closely. The love means what? That you know who you are. Being in awareness is love, because then you can't harm anybody. You see other as yourself, as your own projection. Then that is true love, right? Which is without any desire to get anything from others. Now, that itself is detachment, because you are so attached to your own self that everything appears to be, I mean, I don't know how to put it in words. Detachment is so beautiful that it comes when there are no desires. It comes with a state of peace. It comes with the state of love, and it comes with the state of joy. And detachment can happen only when there is knowledge, when there is knowledge of the self, which is called self knowledge. So, awareness may not be there in sleep paralysis, as far as I know, or there is dream only, because it looks like very real, as if one is awake and not able to move. Sensory experiences appear very real. Yeah, it's all dream. Basically, there's one more way to understand it is that the founding or the foundation state is dreamless state. And on that dreamless states, bubbles are appearing. It's like the ocean and the bubbles in the ocean. The bubbles in the oceans are the dreams. And dreams, when I say dream, it also include waking state. So the foundation is dreamless state, and on it the bubbles of dreams are appearing. So it is said that even this whole life, waking state life of, let us say, 70, 80, 100 years, is like I just, I mean, split of a second in the whole existence per se. Because life has been for so many million or billions of years, right? In one form or other. And so, what is life? If somebody wants to answer this question, what is life, or anything else, if you want to know? But I just thought anybody will. If Graham is saying, I maybe I misunderstand, but I feel awareness can be there in sleep paralysis. If you don't move for 40 minutes, it just kicks in kind of automatically. And I find I don't feel in my body. I can be aware or not in that state. Yeah, that is true. I mean, you have to experiment this and come to the conclusion that what it is. And unless it becomes your experience, we should not believe in it. So when these type of things are there, whether what happens when the awareness in the deep sleep is there, so it is always good to experiment and see yourself. And for that, it needs to be done in a proper guidance, proper with a proper guru. Madhuri is saying memory of snake is being projected upon rope. Yeah, that's right. That's what is the function of memory. It projects its own beliefs and thoughts into another thing which is not what it is. So, like any situation, if you see any situations happening in life, we always see it with the lens, with a colored lens. And it can be either made good or it can be projected as bad, but it is neither good nor bad. When we reach to this conclusion that nothing, nobody can make me unhappy and nobody can make me happy. It is I myself which make myself happy, or I myself which makes which make me unhappy, because the whole world is where it is just floating in the consciousness. All these experiences are what if they are not some random images floating in the consciousness, in your beingness, in your presence, in the one who is experiencer, which is experiencing these things. Although, as we read today's Avdut Gita, it says that even that division is not there in the existence, in you. There is no such division as subject and object, as observer and observation. It is just what it is. Now, we may give it various names, we may say something about it, we may think something about it. That is all projection. That is all ignorance. And once that ignorance is shed, once that ignorance is removed by the light of awareness, that what is your essence, who you are, then everything becomes clear. So, anybody wants to talk about anything or wants to bring up new subject, please feel free to talk also, because this is not one way communication. It needs to be experience sharing sort of a session, that this is what I feel, this is how I know my life as. Madhuri has written, life is an experience from the limited memory structure of body mind. We can say limited allocation of memory. My answer to what life is, my answer is the play. And Graham has said, what seems to be a parade of experiences unfolding. Correct, correct. I think both of you are right. But you see, in Hindi it is called Jivan, and the being is called Jeev. So life is something which is beyond the being, which is not the being. I mean, it becomes poetic now, but life is what you are. Life is what existence is. Because the life is there in everything. We consider life to be something as moving is living, and something which is not moving is non-living. So we create some divisions between living and non-living. But if you see closely, even even the one which is moving is non-living, in that sense that there is no difference between the moving and non-moving. The thoughts, what we say is living is the mind, the person, the personality, the one which can sense, which can feel. But if you go deep, all these are inert. The body, the senses, the sensations, the mind, the thought, the observer. You say observer, but it is just a thought that I know. The one which knows is never extinguished. It is ever present. That is life. That is not dependent on the body or the mind or the thought. That is called Shiva. That is called experiencer. That is called Atman. That is called soul. That is called what you are. So that is life. Life is not, because this this body, this object, these sensations which is coming and going, they are inert. A thought cannot know another thought. So in that sense, it is dead. It just floats around, just like the air which floats around. It doesn't have any base. It is just, where is the air hanged or hinged in the sky? It just floats. Same way is with the thoughts. They just come and go. They are not hinged anywhere. And there is a gap between the two thoughts, maybe a microsecond. So you are there even in that gap. Therefore, you cannot be the thought. and you are the link between two thoughts. So, in that sense, also, you cannot be the thoughts. So, both of you are right that life is something which is exhibiting every moment, every the one and only one living is the experiencer, and the experiences are not different from the experiencer, and they are one. This is the whole thing. Now, Rajiv has said projection is ability, aspect of mind which makes experiences appear where there is nothing actually. And superimposition is wheeling power, which completely wheels a pure experience as something else through identification. Okay. In that respect, superimposition is okay, covering a wheel type of a thing, and projection is thinking something as something else, taking something as something else. Okay, that is also right. Wheeling of your own sense, your own essence, your beingness is first wheeled. Some superimposition or some sort of a wheel comes, and then you project that something which is not you as you, something which is not truth as truth, something which is changing as unchanging, or something which is unchanging as changing. So these are projections. Yes, these are the powers of illusion also, superimposition and projection. We call it in Hindi avaran and prakshepan. But anyway, these are just a way to understand what is really happening, who you are, where you are. So once you get that fundamental thing right, the fundamental bearing right, then the flow is smooth. Then the going gets very smooth. Graham has asked, can we call Atman as life? Does not Atman includes everything, including the non-living? Absolutely right. So living and non-living is different from life. That's what we were discussing. So life is soul. We can say that because what else is life? The experiencer. Soul means experiencer. There is nothing else than the experiencer itself, which is taking shape and form in form of various objects. But in reality, those objects and forms are not gross. They are very subtle. Then only it can be experienced, right? Because a gross thing cannot be experienced. It is has to be at the same level of experiencer for any experience to happen. And that is why they are one. And therefore, the life is just one. And that life is experiencer itself. Because all others are inert. I mean, it not looks very good to say, but it is the fact. Everything is inert other than you. Because nothing can exist if you are not there. Can this body be known if you are not there? Can the emotions be known if you are not there? Can the thoughts be known if you are not there? Can the desires be known if you are not there? Can the whole universe be known unless you are there? And if you are there, it never happened that these are not there. They are also there all the time. I mean, in dreamless state, for a while it appears that nothing is there. But even that nothingness is experienced by someone. So the absence of you has never happened. Just the images on the screen kept on changing, but the screen remained like it. And in a more better analogy, we can say the screen itself has become the image. It is not that somebody else is projecting some images on the screen. It is the screen itself which has become the images. So then it makes very clear, like the ocean itself has is the waves. Is one more way to understand it is that it is just me which is appearing as many. But the many is not different from me. Either way, you say in one way or other. Like you can say, the dream is me, but I am only the dream. That is not correct. Like we can say, the waves is the ocean, but only waves are ocean. That is not correct. Ocean has so many other things. It has it has so many other things, but waves are not different from the ocean. But waves are ocean. That is not correct, because ocean has has magnitude which is not there in the wave. But wave is nothing but a part of the ocean. So these are all examples to come to something which is happening all the time. At every moment it is available to you. All small split second, if you can just connect with yourself, connect to the breath, connect with your own body. It got its own intelligence. And then mind settles down. And once mind starts settling down, the picture becomes clear. The whole thing becomes very clear that what is this play going on. And then the does not get perturbed under difficult situations also, in difficult circumstances. You just take it as if it is a play. So, any other subject anybody will like to share or talk? If any doubt is there, it is always better to clear it, to to get it either by yourself, by contemplating over it, by sleeping over it, or by asking the right person, the person whom you have faith on, whom you can believe. And because it is so simple that mind does not accept it many a times, most of the time, I would say. Mind wants complicated things and gets caught up in those complication itself. And then it tries to solve it, and then it gets further complicated. See, point is that sometimes you feel this is how it is, and sometimes you feel this is not how it is. And this dilemma keeps on continuing unless the teacher comes in your life, unless the guru comes in your life, and then things get sorted out. Ram Kumar has asked, how can we find our purpose of our birth? See, I think this question has been answered several times. Purpose of the birth for each person or personality is different. That needs to be explored by the person himself. That what is it that is not given to me from the external society, which has not come up from friends, schools, teachers, education, and so many other things. But that which cannot be, I don't feel satisfied unless that is done, unless that thing is accomplished, unless that job is done, which comes very naturally to him or her. That is the purpose of life. And if you ask me, the ultimate purpose is just one for everyone, and that is to know their self, to know their own nature. Because after that, there's no purpose, right? What other purposes are very tiny in front of this purpose, that do I know myself? Why I have been given this intellect? Is this intellect only for procreation, protection, enjoying the sense objects, and is this the only limited use of intellect? That can be done by animals also. So the use of intellect, the true use of intellect, the actual use of intellect is to see what is the source of intellect itself. So body, mind, and intellect cannot exist without you being there, which is the experiencer or the consciousness. And that consciousness knows that I exist. That is the existence. And that consciousness, once it knows that it exists without any superimpositions and projections, that is bliss. And in this is always eternal like this. This is not that it's the whole word is spontaneously coming out every second and getting dissolved every second. Where it is appearing, it cannot appear without the consciousness, without you being there, without experiencer being there. And that experiencer itself is getting projected as experience. There is no difference between the two. So the prarabdha or the purpose of life is to become purposeless. The highest purpose is that there is no purpose. But that purposelessness can come only when you know who you are. Then everything becomes play. It is not a fight. It is not a war which you are going through every day. It is a play. And in that, but that purposelessness can come only when there is purity. Otherwise, it will only be like you have heard from somebody that the purposelessness is the most uh, beautiful thing to happen. But it is not yours unless the purity is there. The purity can come only if ignorance is removed. And ignorance can be removed only if the teacher is there in life. When somebody is there to guide you, when you allow grace to pour in, when you open up to your own self. Madhuri is saying Osho has said that life is infinite possibilities. Yes, it is. What is? It is all possibilities, no? Do you know what is going to happen in the dream tonight? It is a possibility. Anything can happen. Same way in a normal day routine, you don't know which thought is coming next moment after 5 minutes. Again, a possibility. Which desires are going to prop up? All possibility, right? Which way the wind will flow? Again, a possibility. So Madhuri is saying, can we consider mind itself as intellect? See, mind has got very broad meaning, but so to make that clear, memory word is used in path of knowledge, which is the constituent of of and mind is synonymous, but in mind some other places mind is used as the thoughts which comes whether I should do it, I should not do it. The conflict is sometimes called mind. But in a broader perspective, mind is same as memory. And it is the basic constituent of what all experiences are. Without that, it cannot operate. No. Intellect is slightly modified version of one layer of memory, which has the ability to grasp what is right, what is wrong, what is truth, what is false, what is joy, what is not joy. So that differentiation, that discrimination is intellect. And once that intellect gets purified, it it starts inquiring about its own source. And that is the best use of the intellect. Graham has asked, how one should one understand the fact that we are not the doer when we are also are encouraged to set intentions to achieve spiritual goals. Yeah, Graham, you're right. To start with, we should have spiritual goals, but in the end, you will find that all those goals will get dissolved. They will just vanish because you see what is doer. Doer is when some action has happened, then a thought comes in the mind that I have done it. That is doer. Now, can the doer arrive before the action is done? And if you closely watch, doer is always an afterthought. It is not that it existed before the action is done, right? And for anything to happen, there are so many reasons for it to happen. There's so many things need to fall in place for some action to happen. Suppose you say I drove a car, so that is an action. But for that action to happen, you need to breathe. You need to have a body. You need to have a thought. You need to have a control over your hands. The car should be there. The petrol or gasoline should be there. And then you should have an intention to drive. And that thought should come that I should drive. Now, to which one particular cause you will attribute this action of driving? If there is no air, if there is no engineers to build the car, if there is no material, what I'm saying is that everything is interdependent on each other. So doer is a very flimsical, hypothetical, imaginary thought in the mind that I have done it. Whereas in reality, nothing of that is happening. Like a small story I have read that one saint was doing lot of penance at one sitting on stone in a hill mountain hill, and he was doing lot of penance for so long. Then the god appeared in front of him. He said, I have done so much of penance, I want this. He was sort of claiming it that I have been doing this tap for so many years, so I want this. Then the air comes. Air asked this person that I have done penance and I've kept you alive. Give me my share. The hill on which he was sitting, that hill asked, I have supported you. Give me my share. Water. Everything you see is the cause of that small action which is being done. So there is no doer as such in that respect. Then what are the spiritual goals? Spiritual goals are to give you a direction to begin with. But in the end, all goals become, they are left, they are relinquished on the way. Rajiv is saying purpose-free life and not purposeless life. And in the purpose-free life, only useful purpose can be helping others to know its purpose. Free life to enjoy it as Leela, to be in bliss. Very true, Rajiv. Shreyashri is saying in worldly decision-making situation, it is intellect which functions or other higher layers. Intellect plays an important role in decision making, but you will be asking, or anybody will ask, then how intellect is formed, how some people have better intellect than other people. So again, it will be boiling down that what is the source of intellect. Then you will find it is again memory, from where intellect is deriving its knowledge, its working ability. So what is then another question will be, what is the source where the memory is stored? Who is storing it? Who is knowing that memory? Who is forming that memory? From where it is coming? Is it in space or is it in physical form? Or if it is not in physical form, how can it be stored and it comes back sometime and it doesn't comes back sometime. So intellect also sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't work. So the source is you. So important point is that the source of anything, whatever is happening or whatever you consider as right, wrong, good, bad, pleasing, non-pleasing, desirable, not desirable, all that is the source is you. So whatever you are is projected as word. What are you? If there is no mind, there is no you. As simple as that. The body can be there. Suppose a person dies. What has happened? The mind is not there, right? But the body is there. The body is not that person. The mind is that person. Now, what is mind? Who is knowing this mind? Is the one which is knowing the mind not different from the mind? If the one who is knowing the mind is different from the mind, then you are not the mind. And you are nothing if there is no mind. So mind means memory here. So memory is what the source of all intellect. And the source of memory is you. The source of memory is the experiencer. The source of memory is what the existence is. Because the memory itself is experienced by itself. It's not that experiencer is different from the memory in that respect. They are at the same level. Therefore, the whole world is you. It is not different. So that is called oneness, non-duality. Satya said everything is simply happening automatically. There is no one doing. Yeah, I think if anybody else has anything to add or say something, otherwise we're going to stop here today. So thank you so much for joining today discussion. It is always a pleasure to talk. I don't know whether it makes sense to all of you or if it corroborates with your own experiences, if it is useful in your life. But even if it is not useful, the truth remains the truth. That is the beauty. Even if it is not accepted, the fact remains the fact. Even if it is not known, it remains as it is. So just go deep within yourself into the source of the intellect, into the source of the mind, into the one from where the knowing is happening, one from where the knowledge is flowing down. It is just dripping down. That is awareness. So I wish that all of you remain in awareness as and when it comes, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.